There is a man sitting alone in a tent at the edge of a war. Outside, thousands of soldiers are dying. Plague moves through the camps like a whisper that kills. The empire he rules is fracturing at every border, and the people he governs are suffering in ways that would break most human beings entirely. Yet, he is writing in a journal, calmly, deliberately. Not prayers, not complaints, not plans for survival. He's writing about death. There is something that lives inside every human mind, a quiet, persistent terror that most people spend their entire lives running from. They fill their days with noise, distraction, ambition, entertainment, conflict, love, affairs, and endless accumulation. Without these, a particular silence descends, and in that silence, the thing they are running from finally catches up, the awareness of death. Not death as a concept, but as a personal, intimate, inevitable appointment, one that cannot be rescheduled, cannot be bargained with, and does not care about plans or unfinished dreams. Most minds cannot sit with this thought for more than a few seconds. Attention instinctively moves elsewhere. A phone, a memory, a fantasy about the future. This redirection is not weakness. It is a survival mechanism. Ernest Becker argued that much of human civilization can be understood as a response to this terror of mortality. We build, create, compete, love, believe, all while negotiating, consciously or not, with the knowledge that our time is limited. And then there was Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, the most powerful man of his time. A ruler of millions, a man who lost children, friends, and advisors. A man living under relentless pressure, political instability, and a devastating plague. He did not run. He did not treat death as a distant abstraction. He did not bury the thought beneath distraction. He looked directly at it, repeatedly, deliberately. The confrontation itself became a practice. This is not about eliminating fear. It is about what happens when the mind stops pretending and what clarity becomes available. When mortality is no longer avoided, but examined. The document, known as Meditations, was never intended for an audience. Written in Greek, it reads as a private conversation, a record of one mind attempting to steady itself. Death appears throughout these reflections. Not as theory, but as discipline. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is often misunderstood as bleakness. It is not. The contemplation of death is not positioned as the opposite of living, but as the mechanism that sharpens it. When death is treated as distant, everything becomes negotiable. There is always tomorrow. Conversations can wait. Decisions can be postponed. Resentments can be carried indefinitely. Death at a distance makes everything optional. But when mortality is felt as immediate, not abstract, but real, the present moment changes. Choices gain weight. Attention clarifies. Trivial concerns lose their grip. The mind is forced to distinguish between what feels urgent and what is genuinely important. The proximity of death does not shrink life. It intensifies it, and something else shifts. The ultimate leverage of fear. The threat of loss weakens when loss itself has already been examined. Control loses force over a mind that has made peace, not with outcomes, but with inevitability. Modern psychology uses the term mortality salience to describe what happens when individuals are reminded of their own death. Often, the result is contraction, defensiveness, tribalism, heightened reactivity, but not always. For some, awareness produces expansion, clarity, stability. The difference is familiarity. A mind unaccustomed to confronting mortality experiences it as a mind that has repeatedly visited the thought experiences it as known terrain. Difficult, but navigable. Marcus Aurelius made death familiar. His reflections return to the same recognition. The great figures of history, conquerors, philosophers, rulers, are gone. Their struggles, triumphs, and anxieties dissolved into the same silence awaiting everyone. This perspective reveals something unsettling and liberating at once. Much of human distress is generated not by events themselves, but by the ego's resistance to them. The gap between reality and the story of how reality should be. Fear of death is often entangled with fear of insignificance, fear of embarrassment, fear of failure, fear of the collapse of identity. Power amplifies this attachment. The more invested the narrative, the more fragile it becomes. Marcus Aurelius worked to loosen that attachment, not to become indifferent, but to relocate value in something death could not erase, what could not be taken. The quality of choices made now, the character expressed in this moment, the use of this particular hour, this particular breath. These remained untouched, and so attention narrowed to them. When the mind no longer organizes itself around protecting an imagined permanent self, perception changes. Many anxieties lose their foundation. Many conflicts lose their urgency. Many fears lose their authority. What remains is not detachment from life, but precision within it. A focus on what is actually controllable, actually meaningful. Act would derail. The architecture of the untouchable mind is not built through denial of death, but through sustained acquaintance with it. Chapter 4. What this actually looks like in a human life. Pull this down from philosophy and place it into a life, a real life. Your life, not marble columned Rome, but ordinary modern existence. Pressures, anxieties, social performances, career uncertainty, relationships that confuse and wound, the constant hum of inadequacy that seems woven into modern consciousness. Think about the last time something genuinely devastated you. Not physical pain, emotional devastation, the loss of a relationship, a humiliation, a betrayal, the collapse of something you built or believed in. Think about how enormous it felt. How the mind, in that moment, could not imagine a future where things would feel different. Now consider how many of those devastating moments still devastate you today. How many events that once felt like the end of your world eventually revealed themselves as survivable, not necessarily good, but survivable. Marcus Aurelius used death to create that distance deliberately. He did not wait for time to soften pain. He cultivated perspective in real time by holding mortality in view. When insulted and power attracts insult constantly, he could place the insult against the backdrop of death and the vast indifference of the universe, and the insult would shrink, not disappear, but reduce to its actual size. This was not emotional numbness. He felt deeply. He grieved. He loved. He cared. His reflections revealed tenderness, even anguish. He did not suppress emotion. He learned to feel without being governed by feeling. There is a difference between experiencing emotion and being controlled by it. Much human suffering arises not from emotions themselves, but from the ego's response to them. The refusal to let them pass. The insistence on constructing identity around them. This happened. Therefore I am diminished. Therefore the world is unsafe. Therefore I must defend, retaliate, reorganize my life around never feeling this again. This is the architecture of reaction. What emerges instead is a different architecture, not avoidance, not suppression, not performance of strength, something quieter, acceptance of impermanence so complete it becomes freedom. Everything being held will eventually be released, every relationship, every achievement, every identity, every version of the self maintained with such effort. Not as tragedy, as fact. And the question becomes unavoidable. If everything must eventually be released, why wait until forced? Why spend life clinging to what cannot be secured, defending what cannot be preserved, exhausting energy, protecting what was never permanent? Chapter 5. The untouchable state. There is a quality visible in certain individuals, difficult to describe, impossible to fake. Recognizable in those who have endured genuine suffering and emerged not hardened, but clarified, not bitter. But honest, not immune to pain, but no longer terrorized by it. This is not conventional confidence. Conventional confidence is often performance certainty, projected outward. This is something independent of perception. A rootedness, a stability born from having confronted the deepest fears and finding something that remains intact. This is the stay Marcus Aurelius cultivated. Its strength lies in being most forms of power possess vulnerabilities. Physical strength yields to greater force. Wealth yields to catastrophe. Reputation yields to narrative. Political authority yields to betrayal. But the stability arising from reconciliation with mortality offers no clear point of attack, because it is not built on possession. It is built on release. Consider someone who has already reckoned with insignificance in the face of time, who has made peace with being forgotten, who understands that achievements crumble, names fade, narratives dissolve. How do you threaten such a person? Offer power. It becomes a tool, not identity. Offer status. It becomes utility, not validation. Threaten loss. Most attachments are already loosened. Threaten reputation. Reputation is recognized as story, and all stories end. This is not apathy. It is purity of action. Action no longer contaminated by desperate dependence on outcomes. Marcus Aurelius worked tirelessly, governed, fought, reformed, endured crises. Not because success was guaranteed, not because outcomes validated identity, but because the work itself was right. And here lies a radical shift in understanding meaning. Most people treat meaning as destination, something generated by outcomes, achievements, accumulation, always waiting for meaning to arrive, waiting to have done enough, become enough, earn it nog. But meaning structured as destination never arrives. The endpoint recedes. Death intervenes before completion. The alternative is meaning structured as quality of engagement, meaning arising from attention brought fully to what is present now. The letter being written, the decision being made, the person standing before you. The breath being drawn, not because these are cosmically important, but because they are what is actually here. And what is actually here is the only place meaning can exist. Closing. What do you take from here? 2,000 years have passed since Marcus Aurelius wrote those reflections. The empire is gone. The structures rebuilt, the names erased. Yet something remains, not because of conquest or wealth or mythology, because of honesty. Honesty about the hardest fact: you are going to die. Not as morbidity, as clarity. And the question is neither dramatic nor philosophical. What will you do with the time you have? Not imagined future time. This time. This moment. This breath. Marcus Aurelius chose his answer: to do the work before him, to love honestly, to decide by the clearest light available, to stop performing for trivial audiences, to stop defending an ego that would not survive, to live without the lie of endless time, the lie of deferred meaning, the lie of distant death. When those lies fall away, what remains is not emptiness. It is presence, clarity, stability. Not untouchable because nothing can reach you. Untouchable because the deepest fears have already been faced. This is psychinetic. If this perspective shifted something, if it made the difficult parts of the mind feel clearer rather than heavier, then you already understand what this space is for. Subscribe to Psych. There is more to explore.